people always say to me, "Oh, what do you think is most important about thing about life? Money? Is it God? Is it career? Is this that?" I think it's experiences, man. And a lot of my most vivid experiences are under the influence of psychedelics in so many ways. I was raised to two parents who were very young. They were both 19 and 20 when they had me. They conceived me after a Bob Dylan concert. Both hippies in their own mind. My parents didn't shy away from partying in front of me. They were also very young, and having a kid in the flow mix of their party scene, it kind of affected everything. It wasn't exactly the most structured home that I lived in. It was pretty chaotic. It was a 3-bedroom apartment in a pretty rundown. Well, not really rundown, but it was not a great part of Toronto. And but hey, I had a good childhood. I had a lot of kids in the building, had a lot of fun, I had a lot of friends. I knew I was pretty consciously aware of what was going on at a very young age, that there were a lot of alcohol, there was a lot of other drugs, but I couldn't decipher what drugs they were doing at the time. But I had a pretty fun but chaotic upbringing before my first trip, which was 12 or 13 years old. So like I said, I'd already been exposed to a little bit of marijuana and stuff like that. And so the day that it happened, me and my buddy were out looking for some hash in a parking lot, across the street from where we lived at Bathurst and Finch. And there we were walking across the street, and we thought this guy, we just asked random people back then, by the way, "Hey, do you got anything?" Right? That's just the way it was. And the guy would be like, yeah, I got something. So we're like, all right, cool. Like we had $5 together, me and my buddy, like, let's get a gram. And the guy's like, no, I got this other thing, right? And I'm like, well, what is it? And he goes, oh, you're going to love it, right? And he shows us these two little nerd-like looking things. Like, what the heck is that? It looks like nerds, right? And he called it California Sunshine. And I was like, oh, great. So, me and my buddy, we looked at each other and said, okay, let's just, I don't know, what's this going to do, right? I mean, we compared it to hash. Like, this looks tiny. We can handle this, no problem. So we popped it. But we did it, and, I was grounded that day, and so I only had a small little window being out. So anyways, me and my friend had to go pick up some beta videotapes from our friend's place that was about, a couple kilometers away. So, I thought we'd just pop these little candies, no problem, we can handle it, right? Well, little did we know, 20, 30 minutes later, did we start laughing our ass up. Anyways, so we started looking at each other, and we just like, wow. And suddenly we broke into a laughter. We broke into a laughter that just was impossible to stop. We're holding our stomachs on the floor, laughing our asses off in a parking lot. It was about dusk. It wasn't too late in the day, but we were laughing. People were walking by, and I would look at them, they'd look at me, and we'd be just laughing. I can still remember it to this day. The laughing was almost the part of, the part of the trip that was so, was dominant, for sure, at the beginning, because anytime we'd think of anything or say anything, it was just pure laughter. And it really was almost like a convulsive laughter, where stomachs were hurting and everything that we tasted was just funny. The problem was, now we had to figure out how to get home, and I had to touch base with my father, who was waiting for me because I only had a small window to get home. So, I picked up the phone. We were in a telephone booth. We're laughing our ass off. The laughing, for the sake of the story, I'll just say laughing was constant. It was not stopping, and then we were able to catch our breath. I finally put the quarter into the payphone and had to give him a call. We were at the corner of two streets called Shepherd and Senlac. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because when my father said, like, "Where the hell are you? What are you doing?" I said, Shenlac and Shepherd. And when I said that, my buddy just busted out laughing. I busted out laughing, but I'm covering the phone. I don't want him to hear it. I can hear him screaming something, and we're laughing. And you know that this is not good, right? And I got to go home now. The whole journey home, I don't remember anything except laughter. Our hearts are raised, quite a bit. And, here we are. I go into the elevator. We're going upstairs. We're trying to get the laughter out of our system before I go in. We're only about 2 hours into this powerful California sunshine trip, right? And at the time I didn't know, but when I reflect, I'm like, wow. So of course I come to the door and I'm talking to Alex, and sure enough, the door flings open. I get a smack across the face, and I'm like, oh my God. And my dad said, tells my friend, go home, right? We lived in the same building. So I'm scared now. Suddenly the laughter, no more. There's my father. There's my mother on the couch. I'm walking into this apartment. It's my place. I'm scared as hell. Things are the walls are literally breathing. Like, I'm on fear, right? I'm keeping my head down. I tried to dart to the room. My father said, come in here and eat some cream of leek soup. I've never heard of cream of leek soup in my life. and he had it at the dinner table, and we don't eat at the dinner table very often. We weren't that kind of family where we did that. But sure enough, he's sitting there, I'm sitting here, soup is there. Yeah, it looks like something out of the Swamp Thing, right? Some green stuff, and I'm playing with it. I'm looking at it in my eyes, and I can see my father looking at me, and my mother's sitting over there on the couch. She got her arms folded. I can feel the problems. I'm in trouble here. Something happening. I know what it is. And my father's sitting there, and he looks at me, and he says, so what kind of poison did you put in your body tonight, right? And I was like, nothing. And I tried to eat the soup. I said, oh, the soup was good. And he hits me on my knuckle with the spoon. He goes, what kind of poison did you put in your... And I just turned to him and I said, acid. And my mom just shot up. What? And I'm like, yeah, acid. And I just looked at them and, I felt like it felt good to get it out of my system, right? Because, here I'm thinking at the time, like, I know these guys do things, right? I know what they do. And so sure enough, my mom freaks out. My dad's, oh, you doing acid, are you? So, just for a quick disclaimer, my dad didn't abuse me much. I got a few hits here and there, but he picked me up and he scared the shit out of me. He picked me up, pulled me up against the fridge. You're going to put that shit in your body or in this house. And then, like, it was pretty blurry, but basically what he did was he took me, threw me in the shower, all my clothes. I'm tripping. I'm going crazy. I take off all my stuff. I'm in the shower. I can hear my parents talking out there, but I'm tripping. The water's hitting the tub. It's vibrating. I'm scared. I'm freaking out, but I'm laughing still. I'm still getting in the laughs, right? I'm laughing about something, and then I know I have to deal with danger outside. It's just not a good thing. And so, I'm really afraid. I'm taking my time to get out. I can hear my dad banging on the door. Get the hell out of there, right? And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, I don't want to come out. I just want to stay in the bathroom. That's where I want to stay. It's safe in there, you know what I mean? Now I got to face this guy, And so I come out. I got sent to my room. And then that's kind of where the story kind of really ends for me. And that's the memory that I remember of everything. Because, like I said, that's 36 years ago. And there was a mixture of fun, laughters, and a lot of fear. And, that never stopped me from doing it ever again. I think when I revisit this story, it's paramount to how I've lived my life and jumping into experiences and not being afraid and to see where it goes, see what happens. It's characteristic of a lot of the stories of my life. The big takeaway was, for me personally, it was about a lot of the times I can think back. I wasn't afraid to. I always wanted to go to places that I've never been, and I think that's essentially what I got from revisiting that trip. And yeah, I think what I meant to say was I think a lot of examples of my life are related to that first trip. Just jumping in and seeing where I'm going to land. I'm not sure. Psychedelics provided me with that kind of like the courage of just like, you'll be all right at the end, right? You just got to go through it and you got to know how to just go with it, right? And sometimes, I think it's kind of provided me with just expanding. It's so cliche, expanding my mind, but it's also expanded my choices, right? It really did. I never thought I'd have the ability to travel the world, and I've had a pretty good life. I'm not going to say psychedelics was the reason for it, but it certainly gave me the courage in some ways, perhaps in ways that I didn't know. I never really thought that I would live the life that I actually did. And so I think that's once again I think there's an integration of a little bit of psychedelics, friends guiding me into certain ways, believing in myself, and yeah. What does integration mean for me today? It means a lot. When you want to delve into the mind, you want to delve into the mind with every tool necessary, I believe, personally, and I've learned that. Integration gives a powerful optimization of expanding the understanding of what it means to really examine, the complexities of the mind. 100% I would say environment. You need to have the right environment, I believe, to really essentially enjoy the experience. And when I say environment, I also think you need to have the right person kind of guiding you to, or doing it with somebody you really enjoy being with, because I've had a lot of trips and in places where I didn't like the setting that I was in, and it turned out not to be great, especially in psilocybin, magic mushrooms, right? Yeah, I think environment and friendship, somebody close, somebody that you trust, is essentially the tools that you really want to have before you enter that journey, for sure.